Let me say something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And by a lot of people, I mean women. So a lot of us, a lot of us men, if not all of us here in the West, were raised by women. But we were raised by women who didn't actually like men. And now I don't mean just your mom, right? I mean the entire ecosystem. Moms, teachers, counselors, therapists, daycare workers, church staff, you name it, we were told by those same women to grow up and be a gentleman, to be kind and respectful and protective and safe. We heard that a lot. But there's a caveat with that. You were never to be too assertive, right? Never too confident or too masculine. In other words, be the thing they hated, just behave better. Let me repeat that. Be the thing they hated, just behave better. I mean, of course, the first woman who ever loved you, it wasn't your girlfriend or crush. It was your mom. Or maybe she didn't love you. I don't know. So, I mean, because those exist. So, especially the ones that really hate dudes. But yeah, I mean, let's say, your dad was either gone, he was weak, he was abusive, or, disrespected in the home. I mean, that love came with strings. So, and those strings are that men are dangerous, right? They're selfish. They are the problem. And you may have heard, don't be like your father. You didn't just learn that love had conditions. No, you learned that you, as a boy, were guilty until proven safe. This wasn't love, not at all. It was early stage programming. That's what you experienced, and it taught you to be ashamed of your masculinity and to be ashamed of it before you even understood what it was. We were told to control our emotions. You were told, hey, control your emotions. Control them. But you weren't taught how. You were taught to simply suppress them, especially anger. Never let that cat out of the bag. You were told to respect women, but not to respect yourself when a woman disrespected you. You were told to be kind and be gentle, but you weren't taught how to say no without fear of rejection or punishment. Plain and simple, you were not raised to be a man. We were not raised to be men in this country, in this culture. We were raised to be safe for women. To be safe for women. And if you stepped outside those lines, you got hit with the ultimate insult. Possibly. You're acting just like your father. Right? You heard that one before? You're acting just like your father. But let's talk about numbers here. Let's talk about, school for a second. Over 76% of K through 12 teachers in the US are women. In early education, it's over 90%. From the moment you step into a classroom, you are placed in a behavioral system designed by women, for girls. Boys they're just outnumbered, they're outcultured. You're expected to, sit still for hours, use your inside voice. Never interrupt, no, never talk back. Never challenge authority, always be obedient. But what's actually happening is that normal male behavior is being pathologized. yeah, if you're, I've heard this one when I was 9. If you're too energetic, you have ADHD. My ninth grade teacher, Mrs. Tinsley, thought I had ADHD because in the middle of social studies, I learned how to do this and was super excited about it and kept doing it. So, and I didn't have ADHD. I was just, the doctor said, no, he's just a 9-year-old. So hats off to that doctor. But yeah, I mean, you're assertive. That means you're aggressive. If you disagree, that means you're oppositional. And if you're fidgety, then you're disruptive, right? And what happens to boys in this system? They adapt by shrinking. I've talked about this. They or they rebel and get punished for it. Either way, the message is clear. Boys, your nature is a problem. By the time you hit adolescence, your default mode is appeasement. Say sorry when she's upset. Do whatever makes her comfortable. Never raise your voice. Never assert your needs. Never take up too much space. Don't be manspreading now. You're not operating from strength. You're performing for approval, because deep down the programming says if you're good enough, she won't leave, and if you're soft enough, you'll be safe, right? But that's not love. That's fear-based compliance, just dressed up as virtue. The same women who instilled this fear told you to be a gentleman, right? Ironically enough. Hold the door, pay for my meal, protect her, listen without speaking, sacrifice your needs. And then in return, disrespect when you set a boundary, accusations when you assert yourself, emotional manipulation when you withdraw, and rejection when you stop playing nice. See, it was never about mutual respect. It was about behavioral compliance, okay? You don't get applauded for being a good man. You get used. You get used and abused until you stop performing. And, we talk about feminism like it's somehow confined to just college or social media. But its more formative influence happens at home. It happens in the home. Single moms projecting their unresolved anger at men onto their sons. Married women belittling their husbands in front of their kids. Daughters that are learning to be dominant and sons learning to submit. I mean, you grew up thinking that love meant being agreeable, being needed, being useful. And now as a man, I mean, this day and age, man, you're saying yes when you want to say no. You let women walk all over you. You try to be the safe guy, right? And wonder why they don't respect you. You've been domesticated, dude. You've been tamed. You've been turned into a service animal. And dude, emotionally neutered men, they can't lead. The system just creates overthinking men, over apologizing men, under respected men, men with no fire or voice or edge. Men who ask for permission to simply exist. You don't know how to lead because you were never allowed to in the first place. You don't know how to confront because you were punished for it. You don't know how to hold frame in a relationship because the only frame you know is make sure she's happy or you'll lose everything. A lot of men are just walking on eggshells in relationships right now, especially marriages, where they have everything to lose in the marriage and in the divorce, whereas the woman has everything to win and to gain from both. But yeah, you were told masculinity is dangerous and that strength is oppression, that assertiveness is aggression. But the truth is that the absence of masculinity is the real danger. If you want to see real chaos, go to a school with no male teachers. Go to a household with no strong father. Go to a neighborhood where men are absent and boys are raised by the state. You don't get order. You get complete and utter dysfunction. And why? It's because there's something missing. And no, ladies, it's not empathy. It's edge. It's masculinity. That's the antidote, not the disease. So men, you want your strength back? You want to break the spell? The voice in your head that says, don't make her uncomfortable, don't be scary, don't take up space, don't make her mad. Dude, that is not your intuition. That's programming, dude. That's your programming. You are not here to be a pet. You're here to build and to protect and to lead, to say no and mean it. You don't need her permission to be a man. You need your own conviction. I mean, we got to talk about healing without simping. So yes, heal, but stop confusing healing with neutering. Healing isn't turning into an emotional golden retriever. It's not crying for attention or saying I'm in therapy like it's a badge of honor. Healing is regaining your power. It's learning how to feel anger without shame. And it's learning how to love without losing yourself. Learning how to lead without apologizing for it. You don't heal by appeasing. You heal by confronting. It's action. That's the action that needs to be taken. Plainly put, you weren't raised to win. You were trained to lose with grace. To get cheated on and stay quiet. To get disrespected and be the bigger man. To get alienated from your child and be grateful for scraps. To carry everyone's burdens and call it strength. That's not nobility. That's servitude with a smile. So if you feel confused and bitter and angry, good. Good, your soul's waking up. Rise and shine. You're not broken. You're not toxic. You're a man who finally sees what was done to him. You're finally seeing it, man. So yeah, fellas, if this hits, send it to another man who's been, sleepwalking through his life. He doesn't need another lecture. He needs to hear the truth. It's time to stop chasing her approval, fellas. It's time to stop apologizing for being a man. You were built for more than this. We were built for more than this.